Congressional lawmakers are spending the next few weeks at home, but activists from both parties want to make sure that they don't get too comfortable back in their home districts. Americans United for Change has launched AccountableCongress.com, a website listing dozens of political events on any given day, along with suggested questions for the folks who attend. The topics include climate change, gun control, and immigration. Meanwhile, the Heritage Foundation is trying to pressure Congress from the other side of the aisle. The group's lobbying arm, Heritage Action, is launching its own series of town halls next week, focusing on immigration and health care. No matter the party, the groups are trying to break the gridlock on Capitol Hill, and some lawmakers at least say it's working.
We went a couple of years there where everything seemed to get stalled. Nothing was going anywhere. We're starting to see some activity, and that is encouraging.
I think part of that is there is an awakening to the reality that you've got to come up with constructive solutions. You can't simply dig in heels on one side or the other.
Brad Woodhouse is president of Americans United for Change. Mike Needham is CEO of Heritage Action for America. We've got you in the left and right seats just in case there was any confusion.
We got that straight.
As we do this right now. So just right off the bat, just want to get a sense of what you're hearing from representatives and senators in their districts. What's the message that's coming back that's the primary focus as they return in September?
Well, look, what we're focused on in Americans United, as you may not be surprised, as the intro set up, is we're focused on holding Republicans mostly accountable. We're a progressive issue advocacy group, so we're out trying to ask Republicans, why are you opposed to these things that the president has proposed that are vastly popular? And we're finding they're running into some problems from both sides. They're at immigration town halls, for example. They're hearing from proponents and opponents, and Republicans are really more in the firing line this August than Democrats.
Well, give me a sense then, Mike. What's the #1 issue? What's driving the conversation in these home districts right now?
Well, I think we're trying to look at all of Congress and all Americans. I think there's a lot of frustration from most Americans who are nervous about Obamacare. You have Senator Baucus from Montana saying that this is a train wreck. You have premiums going up. You have employers dropping people from their health care roles. And so I think there's a lot of anxiety, kind of ranging from anxiety to outright fear about what's going to happen with Obamacare. And so people are saying, hey, let's defund this. We have the opportunity coming up in September, and I think that's what they're expecting out of their lawmakers.
Have town halls sort of lost a little bit of their luster? I mean, there was some reporting going on right now that fewer people are showing up, that they're left. Not too long ago, this was a central focus of the way that sort of the debate was being guided. But nowadays, we're hearing that far fewer are showing up.
Well, I think this summer is different than, say, 2009.
Why?
When that summer was all about one issue. I mean, this, as you said, this summer is about immigration, climate change. It is about Obamacare.
Is this about immigration and climate change?
This is the summer about Obamacare right now. We have Obamacare starts on October 1st. That's when sign-ups start. The premium subsidies start going up on January 1. The last chance that this Congress has to finally take up the responsibility it has to listen to the American people and say, hey, we need a timeout from this law. We passed it so we could find out what's in it. We're finding out what's in it, and it's not looking very good.
Well, I want to compliment Mike because the best thing that we have going, the pro-Obamacare forces, the ones that we're trying to implement it, we're trying to deliver affordable health care to millions of Americans. The best thing we have going on is Heritage Action. They're out promoting defunding and repeal of Obamacare, and every time they do that, it becomes more popular.
But with that October 1st date looming, is that what we're going to fight about when September begins?
Well, I think there's going to be a big discussion about Obamacare. We're in 10 states right now. We're going to every state that Heritage Action is going to confront them about why do you want to take affordable health care away from millions and millions of Americans? So every time they talk about defund, Obamacare becomes more popular. So keep it up.
Brad, I think this is a great thing that you're doing. We finally need to have a conversation between left and right in this country where we actually talk about it. We didn't have that when Obamacare passed. It passed with 60 votes. Scott Brown won his election, and they went forward with it. We can finally have this conversation. Look forward to having it as often as you will.
We appreciate you doing it here, but let me ask you, let me start a conversation. Let me start. I know in Arkansas you certainly will see one another. Let me ask you specifically, if I can, about the issue of the shutdown. When they come back in September, obviously the folks on the Hill right now are saying, as one senior Republican leader told me before leaving town, this Republican leader said, well, we'll just wait and see whether people think shutdown's the right way to go or not the right way to go. What is the message that's coming back to you guys right now about whether that's the best way to stop Obamacare and to pursue your policies?
The message is overwhelmingly the American people want a timeout from this bill. And so I don't think we have to make the determination right now as to whether President Obama's going to shut down the
But we do pretty soon.
At the end of September. No, the only way to have a debate.
President Obama's going to shut down the government. It's not President Obama that's going to shut down the government. It's going to be a handful of Senate Republicans that are going to gum up the works. And by the way, they're shouting at each other about this. House Republicans are like, are you crazy? And there are a number of other Senate Republicans, John McCain and others, have said this idea of shutting down the government over defunding Obamacare is absolutely crazy. It's actually been called, I can't remember, the senator said it was terrorist-like.
I think this is how Washington works. Rather than actually having the conversation, going out, trying to have a debate, figure out where is the country on Obamacare, we start throwing, barbs, Republican on Republican, Democrat on Republican. Let's go out there. Let's have this type of debate. Let's show up in Arkansas next Monday, and let's talk about the Affordable Health Care Act. Let's talk about Obamacare, and let's see where we end up at the end of September. The President of the United States pushed this law through Congress. He had 60 votes. Scott Brown lost that race. He only had 59. He used reconciliation. This is a law that was jammed down the throats of the American people, and I'm glad that we now have the opportunity to debate it.
So for the president, the question might be going forward, what will be the one achievement that they focus on over the course of the next couple of years? And for you guys, I guess the one thing that you most are trying to obscure, obviously, is Obamacare. So what does the president get done? Is immigration what you think should drive the next several months?
Well, a couple things. One, immigration is huge, and we've seen a number of Republicans. There now are 22 Republicans in the House who have said that they're either for some type of path to citizenship or some type of legalization. We know we got a strong vote in the Senate, so I think immigration is the thing that's most important on the president's
Immigration
agenda.
never got through the House?
I think for the last 15 years, we've seen the Republican Party bumble from one loss to the next, and now is the time to stay